I'm Peyton. Welcome to my channel. I am a sophomore in college and I'm studying fashion design, and I love to read books in my free time, so I started this channel so I could talk about the different books that I read. The most recent book that I read was Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins, and I've decided to do a rant review on what an utter and absolute disappointment this book was. Lola and the Boy Next Door is the companion book to Anna and the French Kiss. Anna and the French Kiss was an amazing book, and after I read it, I was so excited to read more of Stephanie Perkins' work, so I decided to buy Lola and the Boy Next Door and Isla and the Happily Ever After, and this is the second book in the series, so I read this one, and holy crap, was this so hard to get through. If you haven't read this book, first of all, don't, because it's really, really bad, but if you want to read it and you haven't read it yet, don't watch this video because it's going to be full of spoilers. Lola and the Boy Next Door follows 17-year-old Lola Nolan, and she's living in San Francisco. She has a 22-year-old boyfriend named Max, and he's a rock star, he's in a band, and her parents really don't approve of him, but she doesn't care because she thinks he's the one. She's so in love with him, they're gonna run off and get married, and everything's just perfect. But suddenly, the Bell twins, Calliope and Cricket, both move back in next door after they've been away for a while, and Cricket and Lola sort of had a flirtation. They liked each other back when he used to live next door to them, and so she sort of has to figure out her feelings for her current boyfriend while also having this boy that she used to love living next door. I think that there are four main reasons why this book was so awful. The first reason was Lola is the most unlikable character that I have ever read before. It was so hard to root for her, and I was honestly rooting against her for the entire book. The second reason is that Max, her boyfriend, was a horrible person. He was just a terrible boyfriend, obviously, because he was 22 and he was dating a 17-year-old. The third reason is that Cricket was really, really unlikable. I know that he was supposed to be some romantic, kind guy who lived next door. Her parents approved of him, and he just didn't come off that way. He was a total pushover. He just really let Lola walk over him the whole book. The fourth reason that I didn't like the book was because Lindsey, Lola's best friend, was always right, and I just don't think that she was showcased enough. I find it hard to believe that they were best friends because it seemed like Lola was a really bad friend to her. And Calliope, who is Cricket's sister, who is sort of portrayed as the villain for most of the book, was the most likable character to me. I really liked her. I don't think they tried to portray her in a really poor way when I think that she was always in the right. So going back to the first reason I don't like the book is Lola was so incredibly unlikable. She was a terrible person. One of the main reasons that Lola is such a terrible character is that she was just a terrible girlfriend. She has this huge reaction when Cricket moves back into town, but she just doesn't tell her boyfriend why she's so upset about it. She tells him, why she doesn't like Calliope, why it's so hard for Calliope to be back in town, but she doesn't tell him about her past with Cricket, and she sort of keeps him in the dark about it. The only reason that Lola's boyfriend Max ever finds out about Cricket is because Lola and her boyfriend Max are at a record store, and Cricket also happens to be there, and he's like, I like you so much, Lola, please go out with me, and Lola's boyfriend overhears this, which is just sort of this really awkward encounter that she's like, why could this ever happen to me? But if she had told her boyfriend about Cricket, this wouldn't have happened. And if she had told Cricket she had a boyfriend, he never would have done this to her. It had been a bunch of time, I think at least a week, since Cricket had moved in, so it's 100% her fault that this awkward encounter happened. So since Lola and Cricket's houses are next to each other, their windows also happen to be right next to each other. So when they used to talk before Lola had a boyfriend, they would open the windows, sort of have a little chat before bed, and that was sort of where their flirtation started. But after Cricket moves back into town and Lola has a boyfriend, she continues to do this. Every night, they talk, they chat, and she's concerned about what she's gonna wear, what she looks like. She doesn't want Cricket to see her looking bad. And because Cricket is in college, she only comes home for the weekends. She shouldn't be concerned about whether Cricket, someone who she's not dating, is home. And she spent a lot of the book being like, when is Cricket gonna come home? And even getting mad at him when he doesn't come home for the weekend, to the point where he has to put signs in his window saying I'm not home because of this, this is the reason, which shouldn't even be a thing. Because of Lola and Cricket's past, her boyfriend Max mentions that he doesn't feel comfortable with them hanging out, and he gets really jealous because of it, obviously. And Lola is saying, like, him being jealous should make me happy, which is like, what? Like, her boyfriend shouldn't be jealous. She should make him feel like he shouldn't be worried about this. Throughout the book, Lola says that she likes to be seen with Max. She makes an effort to go on longer walks, to go out in public more, so that people can see her with him. And in chapter 9, she says, it's embarrassing to admit, but whenever Max and I are on a date, I want to stay out longer, walk farther, talk louder, so more people will see us together. And it says that she wants to run into every classmate who's ever teased me, because it seems like she doesn't want to be with Max because she has feelings for him. She wants to be someone who's dating a 22-year-old. She's more mature, she's cooler. So their whole relationship, after I read that part, just seemed fake to me. It just seemed like she was trying to keep him with her to, like, put on a show for people she went to school with. Max mentions to Lola that he doesn't feel comfortable with her hanging out with Cricket, but throughout the story, she makes secret trips to go visit Cricket in his dorm, which is really far away from where she lives. So she's making an extra effort to go see him, which is, in my mind, cheating. She's completely lying to her boyfriend to go see a boy that she has feelings for. And at the end of the book, before her and Max are broken up, because obviously they break up, she invites Cricket into her room one night without her parents knowing, and she tries to kiss him, which he, because he's a much better person than her, doesn't let her kiss him, even though he says, I really, really want to. And that's cheating. Whether or not he lets her kiss him, it's cheating. One of the biggest things that bothered me about this book was she's not like other girls. Lola's not like the other girls. She's different. She wears fun outfits, and she wears combat boots under her dresses. She's cool, which is the absolute worst theme in any book that I've ever read or movie that I've ever seen. It's annoying. I don't think anyone likes this theme. And this theme starts from the very first page of the book. On the first page of the book, she says she wants to wear a dress so wide I'll only be able to enter the dance through a set of double doors, but I'll hold my skirt high as I arrive to reveal a pair of platform combat boots. Because that is just such a cliche thing to put. She wears a dress, but she wears boots because she's cool, and she doesn't wear heels because heels are so vain. The author made such an effort to make her seem so different and unique from all the other girls at her school that she said that Lola wore different costumes every single day. It was like her thing. She wore these fun costumes that were made out of prom dresses. She wore wigs, and so many of them were just tacky. I can't imagine any senior or junior in high school wearing any of the outfits that are described in this book. There are a lot of different times in the book where she would wear like a themed outfit. So I remember on one page she was like, today I'm dressed as a strawberry because I'm wearing a red dress and a green bob wig and like whatever stupid accessories she wore that day. On another day she was wearing a dress that she said she made out of a bed sheet and Cleopatra-inspired makeup, which is a literal Halloween costume. And to really, really, really drive the point home that Lola was different and she was fun and she wasn't vain, she would say things that other girls wouldn't do. So in one scene, it's Lola's birthday, and Cricket is giving her her present, and it's a bottle cap because they had been shopping and she saw this belt that was made out of bottle caps, and she had said that she wanted to make one too. And she said, she opens the present and she goes, most girls would have been disappointed, which is so stupid. And that line pissed me off so much because why would you say that? Just be happy for the gift. It's such a thoughtful gift. Why do you have to be like, most girls would be disappointed? In another scene, so Lola, her parents, and Cricket are all going to like a hike or like a picnic. It's kind of unclear. They're going on some outdoorsy activity, and she gets dressed in a halter dress, black platform boots, and like earrings and like a wig, and she comes downstairs and they're like, what are you wearing? We're going like outdoor, like why don't you put something on that you can walk in? And her dad is like, don't even try to argue with her, like it's not worth the trouble, which means that this has been a problem before. She's so immature and so focused on wearing these stupid costumes every day. She's had actual legitimate fights with her parents, when they try to get her to wear something that's more event appropriate, which I just think makes her seem even more childish and ridiculous. So a huge part of the book is that her and Cricket are making this dress, and it's a Marie Antoinette style dress, so it's really big, it's like a hoop skirt, and she's working on the wig and stuff, and they're just working on it throughout the whole book so that she can wear it to her school dance. And the end of the book comes, and she's getting ready for the school dance. She puts on this huge dress, she puts on the wig, Marie Antoinette makeup, and then she's like, I don't look like me. Like, I look like Marie Antoinette, which is like, why are you surprised that you don't look like you when you've made so much of an effort to look like Marie Antoinette? That just really confused me. And so she throws a tantrum about it, because it's Lola's specialty throughout this book to just throw tantrums when things aren't going her way. And so everyone has to like rush to like fix it. Cricket does her hair in a different way, so she's finally pleased with her appearance, which is so annoying, and I cannot stress enough how much I hate her. Another reason that Lola is incredibly unlikable is how immature she is, which I've mentioned before, and she's a terrible friend. She's not just a terrible girlfriend, she's also just a terrible person to everyone in her life, and everything always goes her way or nothing. So the first thing that she does that's super childish is she talks to the moon. The moon. She sits in her room with the window open and just talks to the moon, just try to get wisdom for the moon, which I think would be really cute if you were like 5, but she's 17, so it's just like, it's not like quirky and fun, it's just like weird. Who talks to the moon? In addition to talking to the moon, her and her mom decide to read tea leaves. Her mom is like an alcoholic. She doesn't live with her mom, she lives with adoptive parents. Her mom is staying with them one time, and in attempts to sort of like bond with Lola, she decides to read her tea leaves. The mom reads Lola's tea leaves, and lo and behold, the reading from these tea leaves comes true. She tells her that she sees like a cherry or something, and then later in the book, Cricket says, oh, you always smell like cherries. I just thought that was so stupid. Tea leaves don't work. Why are we gonna pretend like this tea leaf reading is suddenly coming true just for the sake of the story? They don't work. Tea leaves don't do anything. So Lola's parents are obviously not thrilled about the fact that she's dating a 22-year-old when she's 17, but they allow it in the hopes that she'll just get over this phase, because they know that if they didn't allow it, she would just go and date him anyway. She'd just do it in secret. So they have like rules and like things that she has to do. She has to make phone call check-ins when she's with them. They have to go to Sunday brunch at the parents' house, and Lola is still not okay with this. She's just so insistent that Max is the one. I'm so in love with him, like we're gonna get married, and it's so annoying. And she just bashes her parents the whole book. She's like, I don't know what I did to deserve the world's strictest parents, like, they just need to realize that Max is the one, which is like a 7-year-old's perspective of life, or maybe like a 14-year-old who has her first boyfriend, and she's like, oh my god, we're so in love, and then they break up 2 weeks later. That is how I picture Lola, just stupid. Her parents are just so chill and like cool the whole book. They should have just said, no, you can't date this guy because it's illegal. But they just say, yeah, you just have to follow a couple rules that we have. And she says it's not okay. And one night, she's so mad at the whole world and everyone that she runs into her room. She rips the hem off her dress so it's even shorter. She puts on ridiculous makeup, huge boots, and runs off to go to her boyfriend's show, which is like so childish. And she's like, I just can't deal with the world anymore. And she does this without telling her parents where she's going. She just runs off to her boyfriend's van, and they just drive away to his show because she's mad at her parents. And then when she gets there, she displays some terrible friendship, because Anna and St. Clair, the main characters from the first book, are actually friends of Lola's, and they have gone to the show to support Lola's boyfriend because they want to see a show and they want to get to know him. And so the show ends, and Anna goes to the bathroom, and she's like, don't leave because I want to meet Max before you guys leave. And she goes to the bathroom, Max comes out, and then they just leave. They just leave. She just completely ignores what Anna said. She doesn't care. And then like 50 pages later, or 30 or whatever, a little bit later, she is like, oh no, you wanted to meet Max, like I totally forgot. She forgot in the 30 seconds that it happened, and Anna just brushes it off. She's like, it's fine, you were having a bad night. So Lola's a terrible friend, and she doesn't deserve the friendships that she has. I'm genuinely shocked that she had any friends in this book. Not only was Lola a terrible friend to all of her friends, but she allowed people to be rude to her friends. So Max didn't like Lola's friend Lindsey, and he would call her childish, he would refuse to hang out with her, and Lindsey didn't like Max either, but Lola sort of just allowed Max to just badmouth her friend. She would be like, oh, like, no, she's not, instead of just being like, that's not okay, don't talk about my friend like that. You shouldn't be dating someone who hates your friends so much, let alone allowing them to badmouth your friends like that. And Lindsey knew it too, and she was like, Max doesn't like me, like, I get it. The last thing about Lola that really, really pissed me off was how much she led Cricket on. We've got like 300 pages of Lola flirting with Cricket, making her think that she's into him, and just not breaking up with her boyfriend. She just is having practically 2 separate relationships. You obviously know the second you read the first chapter that she's gonna end up with Cricket. I could have read the first 10 pages and just known what happened. I didn't have to read the whole freaking book. It ended exactly how you think it's gonna end. Lola spends the entire book just leading him on. She would like hang out with him and like talk to him every time he was home. She would go hang out with him at his dorm, which she shouldn't be doing. She has a boyfriend. She knows that Cricket likes him. I think she just liked the attention of 2 guys liking her and having this validation from Cricket that she didn't know that she had before, which really, really pissed me off, and it's just a super immature way to lead your life. Lola sort of overplayed why she was concerned about Cricket coming into town. He moves back home, and she sees him in the driveway, and she drops a plate. She's so startled about this. And you spend, like, 3 chapters, and she's like, I don't want Max to find out, like, why, like, I don't want Cricket here, like, he could never find out what happened. And the whole story is, like, they flirted. They liked each other, they didn't kiss, nothing happened, that was it. And it was like, what a letdown. Like, I wanted this huge, amazing, like, story. That's what I was expecting, but it was, like, nothing. Like, nothing happened. I heard her to be so dramatic about it. So that also pissed me off. The second reason that this book was so bad, in my opinion, is that Max was clearly a terrible person. It really drove that point home. Max was a bad guy, and he shouldn't have been dating Lola. But he was usually in the right. Whenever he was upset about something, he was usually right about it. So Max knew that he was getting involved with a 17-year-old. On their first date, he knew that she was 17, and he started to date her anyways. Second he found out she was 17, he should have stopped talking to her. They had no relationship yet. They went on one date. She said she's 17, and then you stopped dating her. But if you're gonna date a 17-year-old, you should know what that comes with. He got mad at her about having to go to school dances, the fact that she had strict parents, her early curfew. He got really, really mad at her for all these things that she couldn't control. She was 17. She wants her boyfriend to come with her to school dances. Her parents are obviously going to be stricter than if she was dating a high school boy. So all these things that he got mad at her for, he should have had no right, and he should have known what he was getting himself into. However, when Max found out that Cricket had feelings for Lola, he was completely in the right to say, I don't want you seeing him, I don't want you talking to him. That's a valid reaction to finding out that someone has feelings for your girlfriend, saying, I don't want you hanging out with that guy anymore. But Lola just didn't listen. She was like, I want to hang out with Cricket, like, I just won't tell Max about it. So him getting mad at her about stuff like that was completely reasonable, and she acted like it was the most ridiculous thing she had ever heard. When Lola starts to realize that she isn't as in love with Max as she has always thought that she was, she sort of goes to his apartment and just says things that'll just piss him off. She's like, do you really love me? Like, which one of me do you like? Like, do you like the real me or like the me you have in your head? Just like stupid stuff. Just to sort of piss him off, in my opinion, is what she was trying to do. And he just kind of explodes on her. He just gets like so mad, and he's like saying like, you need to grow up, like stop wearing these costumes, stop like hiding behind who you really are, which is reasonable, in my opinion. She has been terrible to him the entire book. It must have been, like, so hard for him to hold this in. So while they tried to portray Max in a way where it's like, yes, he was a bad person for dating a 17-year-old in the beginning, he put up with so much of her being a terrible person, that him being mean to her when they broke up is reasonable. She deserved it. And right after they break up, she decides to say, like, well, it doesn't matter because I've liked Cricket this whole time. Like, I don't want you anymore. I want Cricket. And so when they meet again, he decides to make it clear to her that he's also in a new relationship, just in a way to hurt her, which is fair. When Lola and Max finally break up, he just sort of says, like, you're nothing to me anymore. I'm glad you've made me realize that I didn't actually love you, and just a bunch of hurtful stuff that, in my opinion, Lola deserved and didn't really upset me that much because I already found Lola such an unlikable character. I kind of was happy that someone was finally putting her in her place. So while Max was portrayed as, like, this mean guy who, like, didn't understand Lola, kind of liked him better than Lola, honestly. Reason number 3 why the book was so bad is Cricket was a total pushover. He was the worst. And let me start this by saying, what the heck kind of name is Cricket? Who names their kid Cricket? You would think that if a character is named Cricket, there would be some sort of explanation behind the name. When they first mentioned it, I was like, maybe it's a nickname. Like, maybe they just call him Cricket because I don't know what the reasoning behind the nickname Cricket would be, but I was hoping I would get an explanation, but no, that was just his name, which I'll never understand. Other than his name, Cricket has a lot more things that are really, really annoying about him. He is sort of portrayed as this, like, super fashionable, cool guy, and he, like, dresses cool, and he's got nice hair, and he's tall, but he was kind of, like, annoying. He just sort of let Lola walk all over him the whole story. And he was flirting with someone who was taken. He was talking to someone who he knew had a boyfriend, who knew that he had a crush on her. He was telling her she was beautiful and, like, going on private outings with her and going to her house all the time, talking to her parents. It was just wrong. Like, he was overstepping his bounds, which really, really annoyed me. One storyline of Cricket's that really pissed me off was that Cricket's whole thing was that he was an inventor. He made these Rube Goldberg, like, huge machines that were always really cool, and he could build little, like, mechanisms to do, like, tasks, which was cool. Like, it made him more interesting to me. He had this, like, passion for something, and one of the main reasons for this is that his great-great-great-grandfather is Alexander Graham Bell, and so his name is Cricket Graham Bell. But he finds out that Alexander Graham Bell was actually not the inventor of the telephone, and, like, he stole the design for someone, and he has this, like, little crisis where he, like, thinks that, oh, my grandfather is a fake inventor, so I can't be an inventor, which is, like, stupid. It's so stupid. Like, he's an inventor, he likes to build things, and now he has this, like, crisis, and it's like, why do you care so much if your grandfather was fake inventor? That doesn't change anything about you. I don't know. It just really pissed me off, and quite frankly, I don't care enough of whether or not that's historically accurate. Like, I don't care enough to Google it, so whether or not it's historically accurate, I have no idea. But I thought the storyline was unnecessary. I think it was just making the book longer. They should have cut it out. It was stupid. The fourth main reason about why I didn't like this book is that Lindsey and Calliope were not given their time to shine. Lindsey was Lola's best friend, but she didn't seem like a best friend. She was such a small character, and she really shouldn't have been friends with Lola in the first place. Lola was terrible to her. Lindsey had this little plot line where she had a crush on this boy named Charlie at school, and Lola kind of tried to help them. She was like, you guys are wearing the same sneakers, like, you should mention that you're wearing the same sneakers, like, get a conversation started. But she never ended up doing it. And then Cricket finds out that Lindsey has a crush on Charlie, and so Cricket sets up this, like, bowling day for Cricket, Calliope, Lindsey, and Charlie. And Lola finds out about this after the fact, and Lola's, like, mad about it. She's like, I want the credit for, like, Lindsey and Charlie hanging out. It was my idea, which it really wasn't. but she wants all the credit for it, and she's not even happy for Lindsey. She's just mad that she's not getting the credit for this little hangout that they had. Charlie ends up asking Lindsey to the dance, and Lola can't even be happy for her best friend. So I think that Lindsey deserved better. Lindsey is clearly not supportive of Lola's relationship, but for good reason. She's very clear that, like, your relationship's against the law, and besides the fact that Max is super rude to Lindsey, she's just not supportive of the relationship. She doesn't think it's a good idea, but Lola completely, like, brushes this off. She, like, ignores it. She thinks it's annoying when Lindsey says stuff like this, even though Lindsey is only looking out for Lola's best interest. So I really do think Lindsey should have dropped her as a friend. I wish that was in the book. I wish Lindsey dropping Lola as a friend was a part of the book. Calliope, however, is 100% my favorite character in the book. Calliope was Cricket's sister, and she is sort of portrayed as this cold and, like, mean girl, but she's so much more than that. She's like an internationally renowned figure skater, and so that's why her family moves around so much. She goes to get the best coaches, and for her to perform at all these amazing things. The only reason Calliope was portrayed poorly is because she was just concerned about protecting her brother. She continually tells Lola, like, stop leading my brother on, stop, like, jerking him around, you know that he likes you need to stop hanging out with him. And Lola just sort of is like, she's, like, so annoying, like, Calliope's so evil, when she was usually right. When they talk about the past in the story, there's a story about how Calliope and Cricket are having a party, and Calliope tells Cricket that she invited Lola, but that Lola didn't want to come. But Lola actually had no idea about the party, and it was sort of like just a sneaky thing to make Lola stop hanging out with her brother. And while that is, like, a really rude thing to do and is a little evil, Calliope, I just feel like she only did it because she wanted to protect Cricket from Lola. And quite frankly, I agree with it, because if I was her, I wouldn't want Lola dating my brother either. The most interesting part in the story to me is when Calliope has this huge figure skating competition to go to, but her costume is ruined. And so she comes to Lola and, like, begs Lola to help her because Lola is always making costumes and, like, outfits for herself, so she knows how to sew. So Lola ends up helping her, and she works day and night to make her a new costume, and Calliope ends up getting second place in the whole competition. And while it was Lola who did the nice thing, the fact that that whole chapter, or, like, couple of chapters, was centered on Calliope is why that part was the most interesting to me. So I would love to read a book where Calliope is the main character, because I'd be much more interested in that than I was in this one. So in conclusion, if you have read Anna and the French Kiss and you're interested in reading this one, I would say don't. And if you want to read it, set your expectations low, because in my opinion, it was terrible. And that's no hate to Stephanie Perkins, because not every book is a bestseller. I loved Anna and the French Kiss, and I just think that this one was really bad. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, so that is my rant review on Lola and the Boy Next Door. I hope you liked the video. If you agree or disagree with one of my opinions on the book, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching!